Hi, this is Brittany Madison, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Okay, now blow.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Brittany Madison, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Do it one more time. I'm looking at myself.
All right. Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? I'm gonna tell you right now, we may have just witnessed the best week of boxing inside of the best year of boxing. I mean, this whole week, we've seen it all. From upsets to impressive knockouts by fighters like Edeslani Lara, stand there right in the pocket, knocking out Zavik. Then you had the big upsets with Tyson Fury dethroning the long heavyweight champion, Vladimir Klitschko. Then you had the other upset with Amir Imam getting knocked out, technically, by, I believe his name was Granados. Once again, just proving how difficult it is to remain undefeated for 19 years without a loss. Just because you're fighting against a guy that no one knows doesn't just automatically guarantee a win. And that's what we've seen in the Amir Imam fight, right? We've seen Chilemba versus Eliter Alvarez, another very competitive fight. Now, what made that fight so relevant is what was on the line. They were fighting for the mandatory spot to fight against the champion, Adonis Stevens. And Alvarez won that fight. So now we're going to see Adonis go up against a young, fresh, undefeated lion next year. We had Errol Spence in there with a guy who had never been knocked down, who had never been knocked out, tough, durable Mexican fighter. And Errol Spence got caught a couple times. He showed his durability. He showed his adversity in the ring. He was able to adjust. He adjusted to that uppercut he was getting caught with earlier on. He started stepping to the right and throwing that left hand, which looked very impressive. And now he's only a fight away from becoming Kell Brooks mandatory. So I'm telling you guys right now, 2016 is going to be off the damn chain, okay? I mean, if you thought 2015 was good, look out for 2016. I mean, we talking about Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev, Adonis Stevenson versus Alvarez, Keith Thurman versus Sean Porter. And with the amount of pressure that fans and the media are putting on Canelo Alvarez, we might even get to see Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin. There are a lot of fights, and that's just a small handful. There are a lot of good fights that are going to be made 2016. But before we talk any more about 2016, let's talk about the fight that topped off this great week of boxing. And that was James Degale against Lucian Bute. First off, I got to give props to Lucian Bute. You know, I love to see a fighter come back from looking like his career is basically over with. Like he just got one foot out the door, you know? And he comes back and he looks almost like the undefeated Lucian Bute. So you got to give Bute a lot of credit. I think the layoff that he took, it really helped him out because he was fighting. This was a real fight. A lot of people didn't expect this to be a real fight. A lot of people expected Degale to go in there and blow Lucian Bute out because of what already happened to Bute against Froch and other fighters. But that wasn't the case. Bute was the underdog, and he came out motivated because he was the underdog. But no matter what Bute did, James Degale would not be deterred because he was on another level. And I really think that James is coming into his own right now. First, James Degale, he pulls off what some people would consider a minor upset, beating Andre Durrell. Then he comes back and he looks sensational against Lucian Bute, against a motivated Lucian Bute. I think James Degale is a serious problem for whoever he faces. I mean, I'm not saying he's the next Andre Ward, but he's looking damn good right now. Okay, he's looking damn good right now. I like how James Degale, he switches from southpaw to conventional. I know that he's naturally a southpaw, but his transitions from lefty to righty in the ring, they look so natural. I mean, he's probably the closest thing to Terrence Crawford when it comes to switching back and forth in the ring. Very impressive performance. I love the way Degale, he can get on the inside, put his hands down, and just chop you up with uppercuts and hooks. Then he'll take a quick step back, and then he'll just pepper you with stiff, straight jabs because he got those real long arms. So he's fighting on the inside, he's fighting on the outside, he's rolling with punches, he's doing shoulder rolls. Impressive. Now, what I would like to see is how James Degale is going to deal with a guy who puts a tremendous amount of pressure on him. The way, I believe his name was Granados, the way Granados put pressure on Amir Imam earlier today. How would James Degale deal with that type of pressure? We might actually get to see that, because another fighter who pulled off an upset, Boute, is another champion in the super middleweight division. Boute, he just beat George Groves. So in a certain sense, you have two champions at the super middleweight division that not a lot of people expected to be the champion. And now they're on the collision course because eventually they're going to fight against each other. Fighters like Lucian Bute and Boute, they just prove that you cannot count a fighter out just because he's gotten knocked out, just because he has a loss on his record. Because Boute, a lot of people wouldn't believe, after seeing how he handled George Groves, a lot of people wouldn't believe that Boute is a guy who got knocked out in the first round against a nobody, right? Now he's the champion at the super middleweight division. Not only is he a champion, but believe it or not, he has a chance of beating Degale. I'm not saying that he beats him, I'm just saying that's a 50-50 fight. So this is another fight to look forward to when it comes to 2016. Something else I would like to see, if, let's just say, we get Boute versus James Degale. I would love to see the winner of that fight Gennady Golovkin, because we know that when it comes to the 160-pound division, there really is no competition there for Gennady Golovkin. Don't get me wrong, you have Peter Quillin versus Danny Jacobs, but if that fight cannot be done because you have the PBC versus HBO, etc., if that fight can't be made, and we already know that Canelo, well, actually we don't know yet. Canelo is still making it clear that he's not really interested in fighting Golovkin, but with the pressure of the media and the fans, who knows, we might see that fight. But let's say Golovkin gets the fight, regardless if he gets it or if he doesn't get it. The bottom line is there is really no competition at 160. If you have certain fighters that you want to fight that aren't willing to fight you, it's time to pull an Andre Ward and do what Andre Ward did. Andre Ward, he wanted that Golovkin fight really bad, and it would have been a huge fight. It would have been way bigger than Golovkin versus Lemieux. But Team Golovkin, they told Rock Nation, we're not interested in a fight, and maybe we'll be ready in 2 more years, because this is exactly what Team Golovkin said to Rock Nation. When Andre Ward heard that, Andre Ward said, forget it. If the boy don't want to fight me, I'm moving up and fighting bigger, tougher opponents. This is the same thing Golovkin needs to do. I would love to see Golovkin versus James Degale, Boute. Hell, I wouldn't even mind seeing Golovkin against Lucian Bute just to get his feet wet at the 160-pound division. I think that would be a good start, right? But I think he needs to step up in competition if there is no competition at that division. You remember when Adrian Broner was fighting at 135, you remember what the fans were saying. They were saying, he ain't fought nobody. Even when he beat Antonio DeMarco, who was a real fighter at that division, you have these biased-ass fans that were still saying he ain't fought nobody, right? So what did Adrian Broner do? Adrian Broner, he jumped up in weight seeking tougher challenges. When Shane Mosley was a lightweight, he had cleaned out the lightweight division. There was no one there. There was no one there. So you know what Shane Mosley did? Shane Mosley jumped up 2 weight classes to fight Oscar De La Hoya. When Roberto Duran was a lightweight, when he cleaned out the division, what did he do? He moved up 2 weight classes to fight Sugar Ray Leonard. When there's no one in the division, you don't just sit there waiting around for opponents. No, you look for tougher challenges. So James Degale, he put on an excellent performance. I would really like to see James Degale versus Gennady Golovkin. That's the fight I would really like to see. Once again, well, the main fight I would like to see would be Golovkin versus Canelo. After watching Canelo come in the ring as a light heavyweight against Miguel Cotto, I'm convinced that Canelo can not only move up to 160, but he can move up to 168 and probably still have a hard time making weight, okay? The boy walks around at 180 to 190 pounds. If you rehydrate all the way up to 175, then we know you walking around at least at 180 plus. So I would like to see once again this fight, Golovkin versus Degale. There's going to once again be a whole lot of good fights next year. 2016, man, is going to be a nice year of boxing. And I don't know if it could be better than 2015 because we got to see basically the fight of the century. The quote-unquote fighter of the decade, Manny Pacquiao, going up against the best fighter of our generation. We'll see if we can match that with the fights to come next year. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.